What's up, folks? Welcome to Math Walkthroughs with Mr. Weeb. Today we are representing the addition of fractions. This is our Lesson 2 action task. Let's see what that task is for today. It says, some students each started reading a book on Monday. This chart shows the fraction of the book read each day so far. So here we have Alyssa. On Monday she read a quarter of the book, and on Tuesday she read a third of the book. You can read the rest on your own, but here's the activity that they want us to do. Underneath it says choose data for at least 2 of the students. For each student, estimate the fraction of the book read on both days together, and explain your estimate. Okay, so I'm going to go with Alyssa first. And Alyssa read, it says here, she read a fourth of the book, and then she read a third of the book the next day. Well, I know that a quarter and a quarter is a half, and I can show that with a picture fairly easily. If I draw this picture, let's say like this, and I just duplicate that picture. Let's duplicate it, and let's move this one underneath so that we can compare them easily. Let's say I split this first shape up into fourths, okay? So I'll try and do it carefully so that they're all the same size. Okay, that's approximately into fourths. And then the thirds, I will split, just try to do that carefully as well so that they're all the same size as each other. There are thirds. Okay, so now we can see if I had 1/4 and 2/4, that would be exactly a half. I know that a third here, a third is more than a fourth, right? But it's going to be more than 2/4 and less than 2/3, right? Because a fourth is less than a third. 1/4 less than a third. We can see that, right? So my explanation would be that it's more than a half, less than 2/3. And my full answer would be something like this. Since 1/4 and 1/4 is 1/2, and a third is bigger than a fourth, Alyssa read more than half of her book. Since a third and a third is 2/3, and 1/4 is less than 1/3, she read less than 2/3. And on the picture, that means more than a half, but less than 2/3, somewhere around there, if we're estimating. For our next estimate, let's have a look at Kendra. Now, Kendra is over here, who read a fifth of her book on Monday and a half the book on Tuesday. So let's enter that in. We've got a fifth of the book first, and then she read a half of the book. Now this is approximately equal to a fourth and a half. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to use benchmarks that I'm most familiar with and that are the most compatible. And we already discussed in this question how 1/4 and 1/4 is 2/4, which is a half. So we can say that this is exactly the same. 1/4 and 1/2 is exactly the same as 1/4 plus 2/4. And when we do that, we can say that that's 3/4. And that is actually a decent estimate. So the final answer would look something like this. Since 1/5 is close to 1/4, I can add 1/4 and a half to get 3/4. 1/5 is less than 1/4, so Kendra read a little less than 3/4 of the book. Next it says we should figure out an exact answer by using a model. Write an addition question for each student that you chose. And the first one, as you can see, the first one that we chose up here, it was Alyssa was her name, and she read a fourth and a third. So let's make this model. We're going to make a shape here, and we're going to model 1/4 plus 1/3. The way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to split this shape into sections. I think one way is going to be split into fourths, like this. We'll do it best we can. There we go. And then the other way is going to be by thirds. So here we go. as evenly as I can. Let's split it into thirds. Next, we're going to fill these boxes. Now we have a total of how many boxes? That was 12 boxes, I believe, right? Because we have 4, 8, 12. There we go. Already, we know that the answer to this is going to be out of 12 because there are a total of 12 boxes in this shape. The question is, how many? So if we fill up a fourth of these total boxes with blue circles, let's get some blue circles out here. So a fourth would be right here, and then we can duplicate that a couple more times, and then just move them to the right spots. Let's move this guy over here, and this guy over there. There we go. We've got 1/4 our blue, right? Because out of 4 possible slots, one of them is filled with blue. Okay, next we're going to have red circles, and we're going to fill 1/3 of them. So that would be right here. And this one can go over here, and this one can go over here. This one can go up here. This shows that we have 1/3 because out of 1, 2, 3 possible slots, one of them is filled with red. Now, you can see the red dot here in the upper corner is totally blocking the blue dot, and that's no fair. Let's have it have its own spot. So we're going to move that down here, and we can even move this blue dot over here. Now it might be a little bit easier to count how many of these spaces are taken by dots. That's going to go in our numerator. So in total we have 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 total spots taken up by dots. 7/12 is the answer. And does that fit with our answer from up here? We said that it was going to be more than half, right? More than half. And 7/12 is more than half. And we said it would be less than 2/3. Well, this would be 2/3, and it is indeed less than 2/3. So it fits perfectly. Next, let's do Kendra's model. So Kendra read 1/5 of the book, and then she read a half the book. Okay, so we're going to split this into 1/5 and a half at the same time, and it could look something like this. There are the 1/5, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 somewhat equally sized pieces. And there is a half. And now we have it split into 1/5 and a half at the same time so that we can demonstrate what a 1/5 and a half looks like. So when we do this, let's make a circle that is blue for the 1/5. So this is what 1/5 would look like because 1 out of these 5 pieces is filled in. Then with red circles, I'll show you what half might look like. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 10 are taken because 5 out of 10 is half. The only thing wrong with this picture is that this red is on top of the blue, so let's move it away. Now we can see our answer. Our answer is going to be out of 10 because we have 10 total spots. And how many of them are covered? Or how many of them are filled? We got 5 up here, 6, 7. So in total, 7/10 of Kendra's book is finished. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.